How'd you get so fucked up?
The monastery wants you to pay for treatment. That doesn't sound right.
Leave it be, Howell.
I won't. What happened?
We might have pummeled his face. But don't get involved, Henry. We'll settle it on our own.
Wait, who exactly did you pummel?
Well, he kept on bothering us and... in a nutshell, it was his fault and we're not going to talk about it anymore.
But couldn't there be a way to settle it? Maybe he'd let you off the...
There isn't.
Don't be a twat, Fritz. The two of you are up to your necks in shit, and you're going to play tough instead of seeing sense.
Go to hell, Henry. You and Elias. You're one as bad as the other.
No, if you say so, I'll leave it be. I want to get better at fist fighting.
Certainly.
I'm interested in more advanced techniques.
All right, but it'll cost you.
Isn't that quite a lot? What do you say to this?
That's not enough. Agreed. Now listen up. See you later.
The miller and Ledechko would be happy to meet you.
You really found work for us?
Of course. I couldn't bear to look at those sour faces of yours a moment longer.
Thanks, Henry. Only...
What?
The reward we talked about, well, we haven't got 2 groschen to rub together.
Nah, that doesn't matter. You'll pay me when you have it.
That we will. Stop by and visit us in a week. We'll pay you back as soon as we get our first wage.
I'd like you to teach me how to be better at stealth.
Certainly.
I'm interested in more advanced techniques.
Wouldn't you rather learn the basics first?
I'd like to practice the basics.
All right, but it'll cost you.
Isn't that quite a lot? Are we agreed?
Well now, a little more and we'll shake on it. Agreed. Now listen up. Goodbye.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Náš tatíček nebo štíček, daj jim. I'll have to get something to eat. I'm starting to get hungry.
Can I take a look inside the monastery?
What's got into you, boy? The grounds inside the monastery belong to the monks of the Order of Saint... Take care now.
Today?
I'm looking for Leszek. Have you seen him? That skull was a fake, and I'd like to have a word with him about it.
Well, you won't be seeing him now. I put some pressure on him, and he admitted it was all his doing.
He confessed to everything. Why would he do that?
I gave him no choice. He told me he did it, and said he was going to disappear quick before you got to him.
And you just let him go?
He slipped out of my clutches, and I couldn't catch up with him. He's most likely in Kuddenberg by now.
Did you tell anyone about it?
Of course. I went and reported it right away. But I don't know what they're going to do about it.
Good day to you.
A piece of stone that fell on different than the rest.
I looked around, and the stone that fell on that man is different from the rest.
Yes, it's very poor. But we have to work with what we've got. We didn't have anything else, and we couldn't wait for more.
That's not what I meant. It's not the same kind of stone that came from Talmberg. Someone must have switched it.
But why would anyone do that?
Well, maybe he was stealing new stone and replacing it with old stuff. Or to sabotage the construction, I don't know.
But the carriage never moved. It rained a lot and we couldn't get any work done, or we'd have been up to our ankles in mud.
So someone had to take it out without being seen.
That huge piece of rock. It would take a few strong men to shift something that size. I know you're trying to help, but someone would have noticed. It couldn't be done without anyone seeing it.
The skull is a fake. Someone fixed horns on a human skull.
But where would they get a human skull? And why would they do it?
Maybe to frighten the workers? Raise the price?
But that wouldn't help anyone. It had to be some idiot's idea of a prank. An idiot who was nearly responsible for getting a man killed. Take care now.
I feel quite hungry.
I've got good news, sir. The source of the problem was inside the monastery. There was nothing more to it.
And the construction?
We'll continue. The master builder's helper was to blame for everything. With him out of the way, the work will run smoothly again.
That's good. You've accomplished your task admirably, Henry, and I should reward you for it.
Thank you, Sidivish.
Take care now.
15. Fuck. Starting picture.
Good afternoon.
If I needed some food, who should...
Who do you think, young man? Me, of course. And if you want something extra, I could help you out with that too. God be with you.
Let's have a word about the prop.
All right, so.
Since it's you...
Come now. Just a little more and we have a deal. Finally, a reasonable sum.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
I've come from the priest. They're saying you incited some women to witchcraft.
Me? Witchcraft? That's nothing but idle chatter.
Speak up, you old hag, or I'll ring your neck. No. Speak up, you old hag, or I'll ring your neck. Let's try this. Don't you know that witches get burned alive?
Speak up, you old hag, or I'll
Speak up,
wring
you
your
old
neck.
hag, or ring your neck.
Easy now, lad.
Easy now, lad.
Do you really mean to threaten an
Or
old
an
woman
old
like
woman
me?
like me?
But, very well. I'll tell you
Lord.
all I know. I've done a very foolish thing. It's preying on my mind so much I can't sleep a wink.
But I'm supposed to believe an old witch has pangs of
Witch.
conscience.
Laugh if you like, but it's not a word of a lie. You probably know I sell various magic lotions and potions alongside my herbs. Well, there's one I wish I hadn't sold. You see, Vera, Zlata, and Kuta from Uzhitz wanted a magic ointment from me. I kept refusing them, but in the end I let them talk me into it.
What kind of ointment was it?
One that will show you a world no one else can see. A place of wonder and terror. The flowers might start talking to you.
She sold crack.
Or the earth could swallow you up.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the work of the devil or of God himself, but the ointment has that power. But it
Overdose, you
could
mean?
poison any person who doesn't know how to use it right.
So all this talk of witches anointing themselves and then flying to their sabbaths on broomsticks.
The ointment could make a person see such things. But it was stupid of me letting those foolish women get their hands on it. They could poison themselves or fall off a cliff while they're lost in a dream.
Will you give me the ointment recipe?
It contains belladonna and the herb Paris, both quite poisonous plants. That ought to make you think twice about dabbling with it.
So why did you give them the ointment at all?
Because I'm soft-hearted. You see, one of those women, Vera, lost her whole family in Skalitz. And Zlata's husband was killed. And the youngest of them, Kuta, miscarried with the horror of it all. They said they wanted to use the ointment to speak with the dead and ask them to put a word in with the Lord.
I understand how they feel. But I reckon it'll get them nowhere but the ducking stool and the stake.
Judge not, lest ye be judged. I didn't want to give them the ointment, but they offered me a pile of groschen. So I thought how desperate they must be, and I heard their plea.
Their plea, or the clink of their coin? And why are you so worried about them all of a sudden? What changed your mind?
I'm losing sleep over it. Firstly, those women don't know what they're doing. And secondly, folk might see it as witchcraft.
They burn them alive.
That they do. So don't be surprised I'm worried.
It didn't bother you before, though. What did they want the ointment for?
Each one of them lost a loved one recently, and it's grieving them. They wanted to talk with the dead.
Lord.
What kind of ointment?
One that will... I don't know if it's...
So all this talk of witches, anointing themselves and then flying to their Sabbaths on...
The ointment...
I want to know something else. I've heard enough.
If you've heard enough, you must understand why I need your help. Find out from those women what they intend, and watch over them to keep them safe.
Very well. But only because the priest himself asked me to.
Thank you 1,000-fold. I'll go to the Reverend myself and explain. You take care of those women. Goodbye.
Alchemy? What? Sandglass? What the fuck is this? Salt and wormwood. Which lists all properties of herbs and all the recipes you have so far learned. You open it with X and using triangle turn the pages to the recipe or plant description you want. You have to follow the recipe in the book by holding X on the recipe. You can also stat all the necessary ingredients straight into the image. The degree of difficulty of the brewing itself varies, and each recipe requires a very variable number of steps. The first step is always to pour the potion base, which you will find on the shelf on the left. Then you add the ingredients to the cauldron from the shelf on the right. If the recipe demands it, you must take care to grind ingredients using the mortar and pestle. You can use the dish next to the mortar and pestle to weigh the ingredients. And the next step is to brew the mixture on the prescribed flame, which is regulated by means of the bellows. Sometimes it's enough just to warm it on low heat. Sometimes it has to be boiled, so you have to warm the bellows until the mixture bubbles. You must carefully time how long you brew the potion using the sand glass. The brewed potion can then be poured directly from the cauldron into the fire, or phased through the distiller, or passed through the distiller. The recipe steps must be adhered to precisely. If you deviate too much from them, the potion will fail and you will lose all your ingredients, and the whole brewing process will have to be repeated. The fuck? Whatever, I can't read. Law. What the fuck is this language?